Hello and welcome to The Crow's Nest, the official podcast of Candace Crow Design. I'm TK Crow, and this is my mom.
And I'm Candace Crow.
The purpose of The Crow's Nest is to introduce you to people and technologies that can make your life easier and help your practice grow.
And get to know each other along the way just a little better.
Today's guest has an exciting piece of AI technology that's going to help with one of the biggest pain points in your day.
Absolutely. We hope you enjoy. Happy listening.
Hello. Today we're talking with Dr. Robert Pollack and Sean Mahoney from 4D EMR and Caroline Zhang from Knowtex, who is an integration partner with 4D EMR. Knowtex is an AI-powered technology company dedicated to revolutionizing patient care that will be the focus of today's podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Sean, let's start with you. If you just want to tell us a little background on 4D EMR, and then we'll get into more of what Caroline is here to talk about.
Sure. 4D was built from the ground up by Dr. Pollack. He's a practicing plastic surgeon and also a software developer. What he's created is a true cloud-based solution. It's easy to use, it's efficient, and it's specifically designed for busy aesthetic practices. But beyond that, and part of the reason we're here today, obviously, is to talk about integrations. And it's been specifically designed to facilitate integration with other platforms like Knowtex and to further extend the capabilities of our EMR.
Wonderful. And we have found that to be true with working with the 4D EMR and Robert and you as well, that you truly are a friendly company for integrations. So Carolyn, I'd love to hear a little bit about your background, how you came to build Knowtex, how you named it. I even understand you were a medical scribe at one time, so you really kind of gotten down in the trenches and know this industry. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. Well, let me start first with the name, Knowtex. Well, it sounds like Knowtex hands-free workflow. So the idea there was always that the clinician should be empowered to do what they want to do, which is focus on patient care and just be talking to the patient, fully focus on them eye to eye, hands-free. But the spelling of it is actually Knowtex, where you can know your text better. So your documentation and coding and everything. And then in terms of my background, Knowtex really started because my co-founder and I both worked as medical scribes, as you mentioned, and we were firsthand, what the human version of our product does today and more. So, spending all that time seeing how much clinicians have to spend time on notes, and that's really, many say, the bane of their existence. Naturally, we leaned on our technical backgrounds from Stanford. Both my co-founder and I actually studied at Stanford together. I did my undergrad in economics and did a master's in computer science, specifically on AI. So saw this opportunity to automate ourselves and automate the clinical workflow with the power of generative AI. And we do so specifically, yes, with the voice, with
cool.
Conversation. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
it's pretty
absolutely.
exciting time.
Robert, you know about the mundaneness of medical, taking those medical notes. Keep going,
Absolutely.
Carolyn.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, ultimately, Knowtex is sort of a blend of our interests and passions for healthcare and technology. And then working with Robert Dr. Pollack has really been a privilege because not only do we get to work closely with a clinician who uses our product and can give us feedback on how to continually improve it, but we get to work with someone who has a lot of IT savviness. So integration-wise, what we've done between Knowtex and 4D EMR is really create the first ever specialty-specific, so tailored to plastic surgery workflow, which allows the clinician to just be focused on that patient encounter and get the notes and everything generated automatically and into the EMR.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So Robert, maybe you could tell us about how you and Caroline met.
Sure, I'd love to. So both Caroline's company and 4D EMR, Knowtex and 4D EMR were both accepted into an accelerator in 2023 called Med Tech Innovators. They are the largest accelerator network for medical device, medical technology in the world, actually. And out of 1,200 applicants, both our companies were accepted as a cohort of 60 to take part in that 6-month program. Part of the focus of that whole technology group is to be able to network with other vendors, investors, doctors, other people that can help each of the companies along the path to success. And so this really was a direct goal of Med Tech Innovators for Knowtex and 4D EMR to network together, find each other, and identify a tremendous synergy that we have, and allow us to create a partnership that leverages the technology that Knowtex has created, as well as the technology that we have. And so it was really an amazing experience to have found her and to be able to join up and partner.
You know, it sounds like the stars aligned. And it's really fascinating when that happens. A smaller, and I'm not judging that, but smaller companies can move faster. You know, you are the first one, you make decisions fast, you know, you're able to, you know, make those handshake agreements work. You don't need, you know, 18 inches of paperwork. You know, you go, hey, I think you're an upright guy. I think you're an upright girl. Let's see how we can shake the tree, right?
It's absolutely the same. It's absolutely correct. You know, it's a difference of driving an aircraft carrier versus a little you know, Zodiac boat around. You know, we can turn. We're very nimble, and we can make decisions very quickly, and it's very easy for us to generate these
Yeah. I so
these
get that
agreements.
as a business owner, and I imagine Sean has to deal with that sometimes. You may come out with a feature he doesn't even know yet, you know, but you've come out with it. So
Suffice
with
to say,
that
we
though,
move fast.
yeah, you move fast.
Right.
That's awesome. So we're
Yeah.
going to move right into the video that we've got that kind of shows actually how Knowtex works with 4D EMR. And Robert, if you would do the voiceover for this.
Sure. So, you know, again, the biggest problem as a clinician is not the time that I spend with the patients, but the time that I have to spend documenting after the visit. And so what we're showing is how we can just have the encounter with the patient, we can focus on the patient and not have to worry about the documentation part afterwards. One of the portions of the integration is we send all the appointment information to Knowtex. So from the Knowtex app, you're able to identify that particular patient who you're seeing. You click the record button on the Knowtex app, and it will listen in the background while the conversation is happening between you and the patient. Part of the benefit of AI is it can eliminate the extraneous conversation. It can reorganize the focus of the conversation. You can just spend your time talking to and looking at the patient. Once you're done with the conversation, you simply click on the finish record button on the Knowtex app. It will then process and create the note itself. Once you have a chance to review that, you can make any changes that are necessary, and you complete that note. It then forwards that note on directly to 4D EMR, already signed, and sets the appointment itself to have been completed at that point. So it's basically hands off for the practitioner, for the doctor. He can go in, have his conversation, hit a couple of buttons, and he's done with the documentation. So it's just really an amazing simplification of that typical documentation process.
That's really wonderful. You know, there's been a few recording apps that we've been starting to use around, the offices and stuff. One is Read, and it kind of summarizes things, but it gets things wrong sometimes. But yours is actually a thinking app. It's not dictation. Can you go into that a little bit?
Sure. So let me explain how Knowtex works. In Knowtex, there's a really simple 4-step process. We're purely software. You can use us from any device. So you see here, there's a mobile phone output. So you could use your phone. We're actually on the App Store and Play Store, or you could use a laptop, iPad, desktop, and you record, and then you turn it on in the room and you just set it, forget it. Then as a clinician, you have the natural conversation, and our software will be listening. And this is where our AI models really intelligently synthesize, like you said, Candace. And we've tailored this actually to the specialty, working closely with Dr. Pollack. And so third, the output is this medical note that you can see that is in a very structured format, where all the right details are populated into the right sections. Could be a SOAP note template, and it's filled out like history, assessment plan. And finally, of course, it's that the clinician really has say over what's relevant. And so they can review this on the device and edit it and make changes, and the AI will actually learn too from those edits. And they can, of course, lock the note into the 4D-EMR interface, and it's fully integrated. So it's different from dictation because this is focused from the doctor-patient interaction, that conversation, and it's seamless into the workflow. So there's no extra, time outside of the visit that you have to repeat what you were saying before, dictate, but it takes it directly from the natural conversation and intelligently synthesizes it.
And what we've been able to do with our integration with Knowtex is we've been able to provide Knowtex with hundreds of existing chart notes of patient encounters from our existing library of chart notes. And by doing that, that's how Knowtex has been able to tune the learning process to plastic surgery specifically. And that's what makes this Knowtex integration unique, is that it is tuned for plastic and cosmetic surgery environment.
Sounds like magic. Okay.
In many cases, it seems like it is. And when I demonstrate this, it's amazing because I'll go to a show or a meeting, and if I demonstrate this using an iPhone, the other doctors that I show this to there's one standard response that they always have, and they say, "Wow, that's amazing! It is like magic," and but it's real life.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it looks like there's besides the note tab, there's a codes tab and an orders tab. Can you tell us more about that, Caroline?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, as a medical scribe, I was always doing more than just writing notes. Sometimes, searching up the right ICD-10 code, or having to help with just translating the orders into the EMR interface. So from Knowtex, you can really generate everything from a doctor-patient conversation. So all that good stuff that is the note, but also the relevant, most accurate ICD-10 codes, CPT codes, and then any orders that were mentioned during the conversation too. We capture that all for the clinician's review.
That's incredible. And so I've heard it saves an incredible amount of time for the practice and the surgeon. Do you want to share those numbers with us?
Absolutely. So, I mean, specifically, I can think of one of the 4D-EMR users telling us how excited they were that it saves him 1.5 hours per day. And across the board, we usually save, 2 hours for clinicians. So it's definitely a time saver. You can go home at the end of the day, 5 p.m., not worry about, typing until 8, and also not worrying about the note content and what you said and what you might have forgotten. We always capture the patient's details very thoroughly and robustly. So it's really capturing what's only relevant medically, and accuracy there. And then working with Dr. Pollack, we have trained on those detailed specialty details. And so to have the most accurate and time-saving content.
And just to reiterate, I'm sorry, Candace, and just to reiterate what and expand on that a little bit, it's true. I will have written a note or had a conversation with a patient, and maybe I haven't using Knowtex, and maybe I haven't sort of looked at that right away. I'll see a couple of other patients, and then I'll sit down and just to review the notes and complete them. And it will say, it'll show that I did mention, we did talk about something else with the patient that I had that was relevant clinically, but I had completely sort of forgotten about even a few minutes after the conversation ended. And I would have never thought to include that in a chart note if I had written it at the end of the day. But because Knowtex was listening to the conversation, it knew to include that. And so, yeah, my chart notes are definitely more comprehensive, more complete, without being extremely long either.
And also, how about, like just the weariness of having to do notes at the end of the day?
Oh, that was always my dread. I just did not look forward to that. Seeing a bunch of patients and then knowing that I had to go sit down and try and generate these notes, whether it be through a dictation app, a straight dictation app, or using a template or using any of the other methods. We try many different ways to reduce the workload of generating that chart note, but it takes time to do. And by using Knowtex, there is no extra time necessary. You've already done that just during the encounter with the patient. So it's a huge relief of effort to know that you can finish seeing your patients and then you're done. You're essentially done.
So there's got to be something hard about this. I mean, really. So tell me about the onboarding. Something's got to be hard. Sean, do you do the onboarding?
I do not. My experience with Knowtex has really been watching Robert and other clinicians role play, and and that I think that the comment you just started this with, there's got to be something. What's the catch? What's the difficulty? And that's sort of the attitude they have coming into that initial conversation with Dr. Pollack, and then 30 seconds into the demonstration and the role playing, their eyes are like, silver dollars, and they're all smiles. And at the end of it, it's a seeing is believing situation where it really is that good.
That's crazy.
The funny part of those encounters with the other doctors when I demonstrated is there's really no selling that's necessary. As soon as you demonstrate how it works and you do a mock encounter with the doctor, and you create this note, they immediately understand the value of the program and the technology. And it's instantly understandable how beneficial it is.
So let's go back to the onboarding though. Does it take a day, 2 days? Do you have to train all the staff? Is there like a lot of paperwork? Something? Come on, tell me about the onboarding.
I can speak to that one more time. I just installed it on my own system, not too long ago. And I'm not a clinician, nor am I a computer programmer. And it literally was as simple as plugging in, login credentials for my Knowtex account into 4D. And I pulled up my phone. There were my appointments for the day. I was able to select one and start pretending I knew how to take a clinical note. And there it was in the EMR, so it was really.
I love that. So
Caroline,
about 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's about right.
Caroline can probably talk to the actual process of onboarding to her app, to the Knowtex app, but there's not very many buttons involved. Go ahead, Caroline.
Sure, yeah. Thanks, Dr. Pollack. We've onboarded quite some number of users to Knowtex, and I think every time it's just we meant it to be pretty intuitive. And so all you have to do is, like Sean says, download the app and you have the account credentials, and then you just go in, click record, and the note and details will come back out and you can tweak it. I'm actually thinking now, there was one 4D EMR user that told us it's phenomenal because it appeals to my sense of laziness and love of technology. And so just like shockingly easy, expecting like more hiccups or troubles. We know like clinicians have been burned by technology in the past. So that's what's different about Knowtex and 4D EMR is that, it works very well. And I think they were just surprised that when you use the technology, it's really just a matter of minutes to understand what you need to do and have it work. and create the output that they want.
So if someone wanted to get started that's listening, what would they have to do to just go to your website and sign up?
Absolutely. Well, you can go to our websites, check out knowtex.ai and check out the 4D-EMR website, and there's interest forms, so you can fill out those to get immediate access to the software. And then I'm excited to say, I don't want to steal the thunder, but we're going to unveil this more at scale at the Aesthetic Society meeting in May. So we'll be at the 4D-EMR booth, and you can see it live. You can ask us questions. You can get started right there. So I think we're very, very excited about that.
We are too. So that's KNOWTEX.AI. It's not .com, it's .ai. I just wanted to clarify that. You know, we get so used to the .com that I don't want users to go to the wrong place. Well, it's been very interesting talking with you all. I want to thank you, Sean, Dr. Pollack, and Caroline, and especially the listeners for staying and listen to our podcast today. Do you have any further remarks, anybody, that you'd like to say?
I'd just like to say that yeah, the 4D is really excited to be involved in this. This is the first in production generative AI partnership availability for production environment. And we think we're just very happy. We're very pleased to have partnered with Knowtex. I think that there's a number of these that will continue to become more known in the future. More and more companies are going to be promoting this technology, but we feel like we've chosen the right partner with Knowtex. They really know what they're doing, and they've created a fantastic solution for this issue. So we're just excited to have this available.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I'll just add on there, I think Dr. Pollack really said it all, but we're very fortunate and honored to be partnered with 4D-EMR too, because we're just very aligned on delivering value for the clinician. And so I think that's unique in the EMR space, unique in our space of generative voice AI. And we just want to design the best workflow to help the clinician first and foremost. And if you're wondering, do I need this? How does it actually work? Is it too good to be true? I would just say, reach out, come to us, see us at the booth, and give it a shot, because seeing is believing, and really you don't want to miss out on this technology.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put links to 4D EMR and Knowtex in the show notes, and then of course stop by the 4D booth at ASAPS in Vancouver. And thanks everybody for joining us today.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.